Hello friends, it's been some time since I made a video, and the reason is mostly because I have been trying to wait for good news to report, like positive progress. It's not that everything's been horrible for 2.5 months, but I was hoping to be able to announce, hey, I'm starting to improve. But now there's so much stuff that I have to catch you guys up on what's been going on. So I have been in the wheelchair now, like wheelchair bound essentially, for the last 2+ months. And it started because there was a day after one of my infusions. It was this day 2 infusion. I was really tired and trying to stay awake for the last pills that I had to take in the evening. And somehow I passed out and I woke up while I was falling down. And I ended up, rolling and hitting my head on the floor. So our floor is a tile floor, and it was quite painful. And I ended up with like a big mushy spot on the outside of the back of my head. Like my skull was not damaged. And it was quite painful to press on the mushy spot. I guess you shouldn't do that. But anytime that I did press on it for the first day or two, the whole room would spin very quickly. So obviously I learned not to press on it. So even when the mushy spot kind of went away, I think because it was so swollen, that stretching of the skin or the pressure from behind seems to have killed follicles in my head. So I have a little bald spot in the center of where the big mushy spot used to be. But we did also go and get a CT head scan the following morning because we did call the doctor that evening. He said, well, you sound normal. It doesn't sound like it's super serious. But we went to be super sure, so we checked the next day, and the CT scan said that I didn't have any skull problems or brain bleeds. It was just, whatever it's called when you have a big swollen thing on the outside of your head. So after that point, I stopped really walking at home just because it was scary. And I started wearing a bicycle helmet every single time we were moving from a chair to the car or the bed to the chair. And this time we were still doing things where when I moved from the chair to the car, Stacy would help me stand up, and then I would take 1 or 2 steps, kind of turn myself the correct angles, and then we would sit into the car. So I was still walking a few steps, or I would walk from the house through the garage to the car and then sit in the car. But then a month after the first time I fell, we were out in a parking lot, and when I was supposed to be walking from the car to the chair, one of my knees buckled and I fell again. This time wearing the helmet though. I didn't suffer any injuries. We broke the helmet. It had cracked on the back, and of course then we discarded it and bought a new one. But helmets are very helpful because I didn't get any dizziness, no pain. It was much safer falling with helmet on. So we still wear the helmet every time we transfer. But nowadays I don't really walk anymore. Stacy will help me stand maybe, and then we'll pivot, and if I can lock my legs, and we'll kind of do that. But I don't do any walking except for when I'm doing PT, OT exercises. So that's the falling down part. I guess one of the good news things that is good to share is that 2 weeks ago we had an appointment with the Mayo Clinic for a second opinion, just to double check that has they missed anything, because I hadn't been getting better yet. And the rheumatologist at the Mayo Clinic looked over my file and talked with me, and she was very enthusiastic in saying that she was 100% sure that I'm going to get better soon because I'm textbook, and all my prescriptions and stuff are exactly what she would do. And she might have changed the dosages slightly, but that's not something that she thinks is 100% necessary. So because she kept saying 100% sure you're going to get better, I was really comforting for Stacy and myself, but more for Stacy because she's worried. She wants to know what she can do. So that was some good news, and I think right now I'm feeling like I haven't gotten worse for quite some time. So the hope is that we're kind of in that turning the corner stage, and I'm really trying to sense, is my neck stronger? If I tilt my head back, this motion seems a bit easier. I think we just went over that with OC today. Other things that have happened, I have had my port installed for my infusions, and that has made things much easier. And the port is a very interesting device thing. It's under the skin. I didn't even notice. At first I thought there was a cover, but it's actually completely embedded under my skin. So I'm going to pull my shirt down if I can. And there's the scar over the incision where they put it in, and you can see a lump on my skin, I think, where the port is. And so now when the nurse comes, she has a different needle that's like bent, and she can easily find the port, and she just pokes it in there, and the infusions go really well, really smooth. It's way better with the ports. I guess for some of our side entertainment qualities, no, for some of the entertainment purposes, the children have lately been kind of occupied with this new thing that they learned at school. They're called Hink Pinks, Hinkedy Pinkies, and Hinkedy Pinkedies. And now we're going to let the children explain to you what those are with some examples.
A hink pink is a riddle where 1, 2, or even 3 clues are given, and the answer is 2 one-syllable words that rhyme.
Here is an example of a hink pink. A noisy mass of water vapor. And the answer is a loud cloud.
A hinky pinky is a riddle where the clues are given, and the answer is 2 two-syllable words that rhyme.
Here's an example of a hinky pinky. A mallard that the hunters missed. And the answer is a lucky ducky.
A hinkedy pinkedy is the same thing. The clues are given, and the words are, one of them is either 3 syllables or more, and the other one can have any number of syllables as long as it rhymes with the other one.
Thank you, my children, for that delightful explanation of these wonderful word games that we play in our home. We will have one later at the end of this video to challenge all of you. Now, other things that have happened in recent history, we had a bunch of appointments with speech therapists. Well, one speech therapist, many appointments. And at first, she was telling me like, oh, you're not swallowing properly, you need to do it this way. And she would tell me like, you're not doing that right. Why are you making that face? I do make a face, so a lot of times when I swallow, I do this. And she's like, why are you doing that? And then she's like, yeah, why does he do that? So we went through and she was like, you have to take little bites, you have to swallow little pieces, and then you have to take little sips of water. And I tried to do those things, but it ended up like being counterproductive. It was harder to swallow. And I ended up having difficulty swallowing some of my pills because the CellCept pill is quite large. And so I was like, I can't swallow it this way. It's getting stuck in my throat, and you're not supposed to like eat the powder. Like if you break the pill, you're not supposed to eat it. The instructions are very clear. So I was starting to be like scared of, it's so hard to swallow. What if the pill breaks in my throat? So I went back to my old way of swallowing, which is using a cup and kind of sucking a big gulp and swallowing it quickly. And one of our last appointments with a speech therapist, I was trying to explain to her that it doesn't work when I try to do what I'm supposed to do. And I do this other thing. And she's like, you should never do that. And I said, can I show you what it looks like? And she was like, yes, please show me what this swallowing looks like. So I demonstrated for her. I took a cup and I used the straw because that's what she wanted me to use. And I swallowed like 6 consecutive or 7 consecutive gulps. And like half the water of the cup was gone. And her face was like incredulous. She's like, what is happening? And when I was done, she's like, are you still swallowing? Because she couldn't tell what I was doing. And the water was going down and I wasn't choking. So at the end, she actually said to me, when you see other specialists, you can tell them that, well, she would never suggest that anybody do what I'm doing to swallow water, but she's not going to tell me not to because she saw me swallow. And so we were kind of left with, well, we tried to follow, but I'm just going to go back to my old swallowing ways because they work better. We did also do a swallowing study with barium, which is very interesting. It's like a live x-ray video. So the machine is, camera's on my left, and they give me stuff to swallow, and you watch what's going on in my, I guess epiglottis and trachea and whatever those things are in there. And there are some problems. And I think that I've had swallowing problems since I was young, but they've never really been a problem because my muscles were strong enough to just push through them. Just now, because I'm weak, these deficiencies in my swallowing are more evident. But I mean, lately I haven't really been having a lot of problems swallowing food or choking. I'm careful and I don't have issues with that. I think those are all the doctors we've seen lately. But I would like to give some update or tips maybe for people about different kinds of medical equipment. It's not even all equipment. one thing that I found really helpful lately is because I've lost muscle mass all over my body. That includes my bum. And so my bum became bony and my tailbone is exposed a lot. So sitting in the chairs, eventually after like 2 or 3 weeks of sitting in the wheelchairs, even with like these cushions, my tailbone became really sore. And then, I don't know why I didn't search first about this, but we looked and found these like half donut pillows. We'll put a picture up of the one because I don't want to pull it out right now because I'm sitting on it. Obviously I only have one. And it's like, it has a hole in the middle back where my tailbone doesn't have to press on anything. And it's been way better to sit on that. I highly recommend if you're lacking bum muscles to sit on a pillow of this kind. Also, in the exercise area, we had some really nice friends who gave us a Hoyer lift that they're not using anymore. And this picture here we'll share where I'm using it with a sling that I bought off eBay. And it lets me stand up safely. And we even practice walking with it. So the OT will push the lift a little bit or like kind of guide it. And I can practice walking in it. Sometimes I'll also just stand in it. Like the last time we did it, I stood for 21 minutes while we were watching TV. So I'm encouraged by that because it really feels good to put weight on my legs and just have that, I don't know, get used to standing. It also feels great to be tall again, I won't lie. I think that was all I was going to share. I did say we were going to have a Hinkedy Pinkedy for all of you. And we had a bunch of them to choose from, but I think I'm going to go with the one that is, I don't know, I like this one. My son came up with the answer. We all work together as a family. So the clue is, a horde of decapods storms through your backyard. And I'm not telling you the answer now, because that will be revealed next time. I was going to say next time that we have a video. And feel free to put your guesses in the comments. I'm sure, well, I wonder if anyone will come up with a more ingenious answer than the one that is actually the answer to this Hinkedy Pinkedy. Thanks for watching. As I said, I do feel like I'm turning the corner. One other small anecdotal evidence of that is we've had a really rough weekend this weekend. We had 2 beloved people in our church that had passed away, and one was really suddenly. And so we had like back-to-back memorial services, and I was, honored to be part of the worship team for one of the services. And I would say that, like, it's very obvious to me that my voice singing that song was the strongest it's been in some time. I also felt like my voice got super exhausted afterwards, so the next day was rough on my voice, but that was encouraging to me, and hopefully that's interesting to all of you as well. So thanks for watching my videos. Thank you to my sisters for helping me set up this video. One of them is recording, the other was setting up all the beautiful lighting that makes me pretty, and we will talk to you again, all of you again next time. Thank you.